Here on Merseyside, the defending, or rather not the defending, the current Premier League champions Liverpool clapped onto the field by Crystal Palace before the Reds reversed the roles to clap Crystal Palace as the brand new FA Cup winners here today. It is a sensational afternoon for two teams who've enjoyed fantastic ends to the campaign. Liverpool have got their name on the trophy already. That's been etched on overnight, and it will be lifted aloft. A buoyant crowd here on Merseyside by Virgil van Dijk once the final whistle blows. Crystal Palace have kept the FA Cup back at Selhurst Park as they prepare for one final game this season. Their league position cannot change, but they will be playing European football next year after qualifying for the Europa League after beating Manchester City in the FA Cup final. Liverpool, untouchable at the top, are already through to the Champions League. It's a busy day here on the finale of the season. All 20 sides in action, and the race for top 5 in Champions League qualification will dominate away from Anfield. And as always here on Flashscore, we will do our very, very best to keep you updated on what else is going on across the Premier League. Manchester City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest all in the running to secure those final 3 Champions League spots. But there's a title to be ticked off here today for Liverpool, and it is a packed out Anfield that are preparing to lift the Premier League title for the second time in just 5 years. Jurgen Klopp, the man who brought the trophy back to this stadium, is in the stands today as he watches on as his successor Arne Slot marks another chapter in the incredible history of Liverpool Football Club. But before we get ourselves underway, let's get stuck into some team news. 4 changes for Liverpool. They've not won in the 3 games since being confirmed as Premier League champions, and Arne Slot brings some experience back into his team. Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson start in defence alongside Konate and Bradley. Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai continue in midfield, but the starts for Curtis Jones and Luis Diaz alongside Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo. As for Crystal Palace, they did win after lifting the FA Cup, but Oliver Glasner also makes 4 changes. Daichi Kamada, Tyreek Mitchell, Eber Eze and Jean-Philippe Mateta all come in to the starting lineup. The Palace 11 in full: Dean Henderson in goal, Lerma, Lacroix and Richards in defence, Kamada, Mitchell, Will Hughes and Daniel Munoz in midfield, and it's Sarr, Eze and Mateta in attack. And the balloons, the beach balls, are already being bopped around in the Kop. A sea of red all across this stadium. Some iconic faces also dotted around. Klopp, we've mentioned. Steven Gerrard is here. Kenny Dalglish is here. A warm embrace between him and Arne Slot before the game, as Liverpool move on to 20 English top flight titles. And Virgil van Dijk will get his hands on that trophy for the first time as Liverpool captain in just a couple of hours' time. But there is a game, of course, here today. The kick-off is just a few moments away. Just a final few checks taking place here as the match officials, led by Darren England, just check in with the players. Paul Howard is on VAR duty today. Scott Ledger and Derek Eaton, the assistants. Samuel Barrett is the 4th official. And it is Crystal Palace in yellow. They're going to get us underway, going from left to right. Liverpool in royal red. And the finale of what's been a sensational season for this team. Both sides will take the knee before we get ourselves underway. There's a reiteration of the Premier League's message that there is no room for racism in football or anywhere in society. And it is Palace that get us underway. And we do also have to reference one player who's not starting for Liverpool today, Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course. Expected to sign on a free transfer for Real Madrid in the coming weeks. He is still on the bench. He's received a mixed reaction from the Liverpool fans when he's come on after confirming that decision, both here at Anfield and away from home. But this will be his final Anfield appearance as a Liverpool player if Arne Slot decides to roll him on at some point this afternoon. We are underway across all the other Premier League games. No goals, with 90 seconds of the first 90 minutes gone. The permutations are absolutely fascinating across the board, and we can just dive into them very quickly here as Konate gets his studs on the ball inside the centre circle. So Manchester City on 69 points. Without wanting to upset any Man City fans, they should be home and dry in the race for a top 5 position, but Newcastle 67, Aston Villa 67, Chelsea 66 and Nottingham Forest 65. Chelsea at Nottingham Forest is the game to keep an eye on, really. And there is also a situation that if Chelsea were to finish 7th in the Premier League today and then beat Real Betis in the Conference League final on Wednesday night, then 8th place Brighton would qualify for the Conference League next season, as Chelsea are granted a spot in the Europa League. But those permutations can wait for now. Here's Will Hughes, just takes up possession for Crystal Palace midway inside the visitors' half of the field, into Kamada. Now Mateta on the centre circle, tries to barge his way beyond Ibrahima Konate, but Conor Bradley just tucks in there and picks up the loose ball. The young Northern Ireland international, who of course has agreed a contract extension here at Anfield. He'll be the new right back next season. Jeremy Frimpong is another expected acquisition for Arne Slot, alongside a potential club transfer record for his Bayern Leverkusen teammate Florian Wirtz. Both of those deals still in the offing though, as Liverpool sign off on the season. Here's Andy Robertson, got space to get over the halfway line from left back and roll that onto the feet of Cody Gakpo, who'll try and hang that into the far post towards Mohamed Salah. It's headed behind for a corner by Tyreek Mitchell. Good defending there from the Palace fullback, just covering in front of Salah. Relegation spots have already been confirmed. Just to update, Leicester City, Ipswich Town and Southampton will be back in the Championship next season. Leeds and Burnley automatically promoted, and then a spectacular playoff final yesterday means that Sunderland are back in the big time. That corner from the right hand side is cleared away by Will Hughes, and now Ebereze has got space to race away over the halfway line, but Van Dijk just gets back in. And Bradley will see that home to Alisson, who's spent most of the first 4 minutes popping balloons inside his penalty area. A little change of pace there from Ebereze. Van Dijk, so quick to recover in that type of situation, just did enough to ease him off the ball. Just looking at some of the other games on this final match week of the Premier League season. Bournemouth at home to Leicester City. Leicester, of course, already relegated. Bournemouth not in that European equation. Fulham hosting Manchester City. Ipswich aiming to end on a positive at home to West Ham. Manchester United defeated in the Europa League final there at home to Aston Villa, who are pushing for one of those Champions League places. Newcastle host Everton. Forest up against Chelsea, as we mentioned. Rock bottom Southampton take on Arsenal. Wolves at home to Brentford, and then the new Europa League champion Tottenham at home to Brighton. But 5 minutes gone across the board, and we are goal free here in the final weekend of the season. First little glimpse there of Trent Alexander-Arnold on the bench. Be fascinated to know what Liverpool fans think about him being given a run out here today. It's been a subject that's really split opinion in the Reds faithful. That deal to Madrid, of course, not completely rubber stamped just yet. Xabi Alonso has been confirmed as Carlo Ancelotti's replacement. He'll be unveiled in a press conference tomorrow. And Los Blancos are reportedly in talks with Liverpool to have Trent available in time for the Club World Cup. Nice work there from Curtis Jones. Almost manages to squeeze in Mohamed Salah just on the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area, but it's cleared away down that left channel by Mitchell, and Mateta will go across with Konate and does well to win a throw-in off his fellow Frenchman. Darren England has just called a halt to proceedings for a moment to allow the remaining balloons to be popped. There is still, of course, a football match here today. The party in the stands is the main focus for the supporters, but there's still 83 or so minutes to get through before Virgil van Dijk's big moment in front of the Kop. Throwing rather cheaply given away by Palace, but Conor Bradley's little chip forward will give them another opportunity to build down the left-hand side, midway into Liverpool's half of the field. Tyrick Mitchell will come forward from left-back to take. Gets the short option from Will Hughes, and good tracking there from Dominic Szoboszlai just to go with Hughes. Luis Diaz there does well just to get it toe in and win it away from the Palace midfielder. Really well done by Luis Diaz. He's just scampers across the pitch here through the centre circle and eventually bundles it across to Andy Robertson. Now Van Dijk, Gravenberch. Just back inside Liverpool territory here. Jean-Philippe Mateta will put the squeeze on the Dutchman. There's still those balloons floating onto the field. Virgil van Dijk's pass into Szoboszlai there, almost coming a cropper on a balloon. Here's Konate. Nice link up there with Bradley to get over the halfway line, but Hughes gets a toe in to frustrate. One back again though by Liverpool. It's Curtis Jones there doing the hard work over on the Liverpool right, but can't find Salah. Mitchell gets there first to try and get Palace moving again down that left hand side. It's been the favoured route for the visitors so far. If you are a little late joining us here today, 8 minutes gone at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 0. Premier League champions against the FA Cup winners. A guard of honour apiece before kick-off here. Liverpool clapped onto the field by Oliver Glasner's team before a quick change around led by Virgil van Dijk to acknowledge the first ever FA Cup for Crystal Palace, and a chance here for Crystal Palace and a goal for Crystal Palace. Ismail Assar has upset the script at Anfield. Slack in midfield from Slot's hosts, and that is a pass slotted into the feet of Ismail Assar, and there's a gaping hole in the middle of the Liverpool back line in between Van Dijk and Konate. And Crystal Palace's number 7 on Liverpool's big day here on Merseyside has scored the first goal of the final Premier League weekend. Bradley's clearance out was intercepted by Tyrick Mitchell and instantly strayed into the feet of Ismail Assar. Good awareness from the Crystal Palace left back there to spot that Konate just stepped forward away from Van Dijk. And that's a really well taken goal from Ismail Assar. Liverpool, the party mood here has just taken a little dip. Sarr's 8th Premier League goal of the campaign won't dampen the spirits too much. The wider message from today is that it's all about the 37 matches that have gone before. But a bit of a shock here, 10 minutes gone. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ismail Assar giving the Eagles lift off on Merseyside. Just to confirm, 10 minutes gone across all 10 games, and that is the only goal to have gone in as it stands. Liverpool immediately trying to get Salah in behind Mitchell from the kick-off, but Dean Henderson quick off his line to gather. Palace will start again. Lofted up to the halfway line, aimed at Mateta, does well just to keep that alive for Daniel Munoz. And Eze tried to return it back into space as Munoz continued his run, and Alisson again battles through the balloons with the clearance over the halfway line. Kamada to Lacroix. It's a hurried clearance from Dean Henderson. It'll just drift out for a throw in here, right on the halfway line in front of Arne Slot. Was wearing a stern expression. He was all smiles at kick-off as basking in the adoration of the home fans here. Will not want to end on a low point. As I mentioned before kick-off, Liverpool haven't won since being confirmed as champions, and He will not want to sign off with a home defeat here today. Incidentally, those 3 games since they were confirmed as champions, the 2 defeats, both away from home, losing at Chelsea and away at Brighton. They were held here by Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. And have only lost 1 Premier League game at home all season under Arne Slot. And that was 1-0 against Nottingham Forest way back in September. Konate does well there just to cut out that ball on halfway as Mateta threatened to steam in behind him. Now Robertson just trying to lift that forward to the edge of the Palace box. Good defending from Lacroix to get there in front of Luis Diaz, and Van Dijk's come thundering over the halfway line there. Brilliant header to beat Mateta to it. Bangs his hands together there, the Liverpool captain, to try and shake his teammates into sync. Now Bradley, nice link up with Salah over on the far right hand side for Liverpool, and clearance away is charged down by Salah, and that'll be a goal kick to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace fans who are still themselves in party mode. And both sets of supporters here today getting on super well and cheering at each other after that goal went in. Liverpool will come again. Gakpo this time tries to hang it in once more to Salah, but Henderson quickly out to gather at the far post once more. Henderson just clipped up to the halfway line for Kamada. Manages to win that tussle with Dominic Szoboszlai. Short on options here. Kamada would have to go back to the edge of Palace's penalty area. Richards to Henderson once more. Nice spread over to the far left hand side. And Mitchell, as they tried the little dummy there to let that run into Ismail Assar, but Szoboszlai cuts it out. And Liverpool try and move with a bit of pace now. Salah runs straight into Jefferson Lerma though. Mateta will show for that on the halfway line. He's tracked every inch there by Ibrahima Konate. Palace players are appealing for a free kick there, I think. The referee's only gone for a throw-in and it's in Liverpool's favour. Quickly tossed back onto the halfway line to Gravenberch. Now Van Dijk. Robertson forward from left back, midway inside the Crystal Palace half of the field. Just pops that into Luis Diaz. Now Gravenberch on the edge of the D. Palace back in numbers here just to try and get in the way of the Dutchman, but Bradley will keep that alive for Liverpool. Now Salah. Mitchell so quick out to press there, and he'll force Salah backwards all the way to Van Dijk. Everybody but Alisson pushed up into the Palace half of the field. Here is Salah again. Bradley with the option over on the far right hand side, just a few yards short of the Crystal Palace 18-yard box. The driven ball into the Palace penalty area. Munoz tracked the run of Robertson there, and Jones will see that out for a throw-in. The offside flag, rather belatedly though, flashes up against Andy Robertson, and it will be a free kick to Palace in their right back spot. Dean Henderson will jog over to take. So 15 minutes gone here, and with all 10 Premier League games kicking off at the same time, we are still goalless everywhere but Merseyside. So many important potential results incoming. But it's been a slow burning final day, and the match with absolutely nothing on the line here at Anfield is the only one with a goal so far. Bradley does well there just to hammer away that clearance from Henderson. Picked up on the halfway line by Gravenberch. Here's Andy Robertson, space to raid forward from left back. Tries to go straight to the feet of Cody Gakpo, but it's dealt with by Daniel Munoz. Van Dijk. Konate on the centre circle. Space just to fizz that over to the right hand side. Salah will wait for the run of Bradley to go beyond him. It worked that well over on the Palace left. Eze and Tyreek Mitchell to keep Salah and Bradley at arm's length so far. And switch a play to the left now with Gakpo. He'll get Munoz and Sarr backing off to the edge of the Palace penalty area. Robertson, Van Dijk, midway inside the Palace half of the field. Liverpool pushed up very, very high here. They've dominated possession without creating anything so far. Diaz thought about just dipping in and getting a shot away on his right foot, but eventually the pass to Salah again, cut out by Mitchell. But Salah will stay with him. Good work there from the Egyptian to get Liverpool moving forward, but couldn't quite find the feet of Diaz. Konate wins the turnover on halfway. This is better from Liverpool now. Gravenberch, Robertson, got space to angle that one into the far post. Salah on the run. And Mitchell again gets his body in. Palace for the first time just caught a little out of position there. Salah threatened to go through the gears and expose that space in behind Tyreek Mitchell. There was a flurry of yellow shirts quickly across to nullify the threat. Here's Bradley, goes first time into the penalty area. Munoz clears it only as far as Szoboszlai. Hughes immediately closing him down. Now Diaz, everybody in yellow strung out across the edge of Dean Henderson's penalty box. Gakpo can't get an angle for a shot. Gravenberch with the dummy. Now Bradley, can he find something from the dead ball line? Takes on Tyreek Mitchell, and it's turned behind for another Liverpool corner. Jefferson Lerma this time back in position. And before we get that set piece, we do have a goal elsewhere, but it's in one of those games that doesn't have a great deal hanging on it. Tottenham 1, Brighton 0. Dominic Solanke from the penalty spot. Now Brighton can't be touched in 8th position, but they need Chelsea to finish 7th, as you mentioned, and win the Conference League on Wednesday to give themselves a fighting chance of European qualification. But we have got our first goal away from Anfield on the final day. Solanke giving Spurs the lead. Bradley back inside the centre circle for Liverpool, and once more Mateta. Hughes quick to close him down. Gravenberch will work that over to Salah. Good work once more by Tyreek Mitchell. He's got the better of Salah the bulk of occasions so far here. Possibly a candidate for England looking at the World Cup in 12 months' time. It's been a position that's a bit of a headache for Thomas Tuchel. Left back Luke Shaw struggling for form and injury. Ben Chilwell, who was on loan here at Palace, is not really in his thoughts as it stands, and Tyreek Mitchell has had a very, very good season for Oliver Glasner. Gravenberch just manages to take control inside the centre circle for Liverpool. Now Konate on the spin, gets away from Mateta. Tried to lift that forward for Cody Gakpo, who'll drag Munoz once more back inside his own penalty area. Good work as he steps in field though from Ismaila Sarr to back up his fullback. Konate with the lift. Dean Henderson with the take. We hit 20 minutes, we've got another goal. But again, this is one of those games that doesn't have too much on the line. Wolves 0, Brentford 1, Bryan Mbeumo. But from a personal perspective, that is Bryan Mbeumo's 20th Premier League goal of the season. Pulls him level with Chris Wood. Mohamed Salah with 28 has effectively got that wrapped up, unless Alexander Isak has got something outrageous planned for Newcastle today. Mbeumo on to 20, first Brentford player to manage that since Ivan Toney. So 3 goals across the 2 games. Tottenham 1, Brighton 0, Wolves 0, Brentford 1. And here at Anfield, bit of a shock on Premier League title deliverance day. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ismaila Sarr with a goal in front of the Kop to just ever so slightly quiet the red wall behind Alisson Becker's goal. Here is Alisson, rolls that into the feet of Conor Bradley. It's Palace's first little foray forward for 5 or so minutes. Liverpool back in possession. 86% possession for Arne Slot's team so far, but nothing to test Dean Henderson at the moment. Nice little ball through the lines there, and Gravenberch is caught by Will Hughes. Play on, says the referee for now. Jones feeds it on to Gakpo. He's got 3 players in front of him once more, so he'll leave it for Robertson to curl in. Cleared away by Mitchell. Darren England just indicating that he might come back to that foul on Gravenberch in a moment, but Liverpool have possession once more. Salah just tries to roll that into Bradley. Liverpool's new look right hand side. Darren England keeps his cards in his pocket on this occasion. I think enough time passed to let Kamada, who caught Ryan Gravenberch there, off. Dean Henderson gets us back underway, helped on by Munoz as Konate just about sees that back to Alisson. More balloons causing more problems here again. That's been Alisson's main task here, and he'll clear a few more away as Liverpool build out from the back. Van Dijk into Gravenberch. First quarter of the game gone. We can bring you another goal update. This one from Craven Cottage. Fulham 0, Manchester City 1. Manchester City on the verge of securing third and Champions League qualification. It's a big step in that direction for Pep Guardiola. The bulk of the attention will be St James's, the City Ground and Old Trafford. Aston Villa 0-0 in Manchester as it stands. 0-0 between Nottingham Forest and Chelsea. And Newcastle 0, Everton 0. Here is Munoz. Races over the halfway line. He's tracked there by his Colombian teammate Luis Diaz. Robertson caught in possession by Will Hughes. Good work from the Palace midfielder to win that back for the visitors. Now on to Eze. Just tries to hoist that back in for the run of Munoz. He'll keep it alive and nods it back over to the far post. And headed behind by Bradley. It's Palace's first corner of the game. That was better from Palace inside the Liverpool half of the field, and there's a possibility that that won't be given as a corner. The offside flag had already gone up on Daniel Munoz. And the referee will now take some definitive action on these balloons. Almost every player has taken their turn to pop one, and there's an unending supply of them floating down from the cup. We are back underway. No corner for Palace. So it's just 2 so far, both in favour of Liverpool. Here's Bradley. Space to maraud forward again from right back. Rolled on to Salah. He went for the 1-2 there with Salah, but it's blocked away for a throw-in against Mitchell. Quickly taken by Salah. Now Gravenberch. Szoboszlai. Just right of centre, about 30 yards out, as Bradley is again pushed up nice and high there. Rather ran into Jefferson Lerma, but Kamada can't keep it alive. Good work from Bradley to just toe in and keep possession for Liverpool. Gakpo. Robertson again. A little bit of space here for Cody Gakpo if he can get Chris Richards running back towards his own goal. Richards gets in, makes the challenge. That will be a corner, and it will be Liverpool's again. Been a willing runner down this near left-hand side, Cody Gakpo. Szoboszlai goes short with the corner. Curls it in towards the penalty spot. Cleared away by Will Hughes. Curtis Jones will keep Liverpool pressed up. Back to Szoboszlai now to try and angle one into the far post. Headed away by Lerma. Salah gets his studs on it on the edge of the penalty area with Gravenberch now. Eze just forces him back ever so slightly to midway inside Palace's half. Jones, Robertson. Just rolls that back into Szoboszlai. Thought about the shot into Diaz now. 20 yards out. Diaz with the curler. Just past Henderson's post. And that is the closest we've come to a Liverpool goal so far. 25 minutes gone. Lovely disguised ball there by Szoboszlai. Diaz just spots a bit of space to bend that around Chris Richards. He had Henderson scrambling across his goal. It just flashes into the advertising hoardings. That is a chance for Liverpool, a half chance. Something to keep Dean Henderson on his toes. Van Dijk with the win on halfway there in front of Jean-Philippe Mateta as Trent Alexander-Arnold is sent out to warm up by Arne Slot. It's a polite round of applause from him towards the Liverpool supporters just in front of the Anfield Road end. Diaz frustrated there. He thought he'd won himself a corner, but it's a goal kick for Crystal Palace. ...353 Liverpool appearances, 23 goals, 86 assists and 7 major trophies for the soon-to-be departing number 66. New career chapter awaits in Madrid for him as he steps away from a team that he's been associated with for just over 2 decades. Here is Jean-Philippe Mateta, spacing behind Andy Robertson here, and there's an opportunity for him there just to step on the gas, but that rolled ball to Sarr on the edge of Liverpool's penalty area is dealt with by Gravenberch. Now Robertson, back to Gravenberch, lovely little turn there to get away from Kamada. Sarr tussles with him on the halfway line. And that'll be a free kick to Liverpool. Sarr claiming that Gravenberch made the most of that, but Darren England thinks otherwise. Quickly taken though into Diaz. Now Robertson. Virgil van Dijk just pushed into the centre circle to try and keep Liverpool pushing and probing against this deep-rooted Crystal Palace backline. Back with the captain now. Rolled forward onto Cody Gakpo. He's the only option for Liverpool down this near left-hand side. Nice little 1-2 with Robertson. Gakpo will go again into the far post. Szoboszlai beaten to it by Kamada. Liverpool will continue turning the screw here though. Robertson again. Back on to Gakpo. Munoz needs support here and gets it from Sarr. Robertson will whip that in towards the far post. Dealt with though by Lacroix. Bradley battling away inside the penalty area. Just about finds its way on to Salah. Gravenberch will hang it in again and head it over. Luis Diaz just threw himself at that on the 6-yard line. It was well covered though from both sides. Chris Richards just gets his body in between man and ball. And once more it's the Colombian connection here as Daniel Munoz just levers himself into Luis Diaz, so he can't get a clean contact on that one. Certainly went for it, Diaz. Half an hour gone. Still no shots on target for Liverpool. Dean Henderson. I've seen that double from Diaz, whistle past his goal. But nothing doing at the moment. Here's Bradley. Just checks on the halfway line. Rolls it into Konate. Palace so disciplined when they're not in possession. Kamada, Hughes just anchoring that midfield. Eze and Sarr tucking in and doing their defensive duty as needed. Here's Robertson. Good work again there from Will Hughes. He's so adept at just nicking possession away in those tight areas. He's got space here to get away from Robertson. Down the right hand side, needs support, finds it with Sarr. Gakpo just about wins that tussle and Konate comes thundering in there. But Mitchell will keep it going and Mateta's got an angle here. Mateta's through. Mateta with the goal. Palace 2 at Anfield. But the offside flag is up against Jean-Philippe Mateta. And just a quick raise of the eyebrows from the Palace striker there. I think he knew that he'd just gone a split second too early beyond Virgil van Dijk, and he has indeed. As has been shown on the replay here, far too strong for Conor Bradley though. Bradley sticks his hand up in the air and gets the offside decision in his favour. The score remains Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Liverpool will come once more down that right hand side. Szoboszlai and Bradley. Bradley's burst is blocked off though, and Szoboszlai will go back to Van Dijk. Gakpo again just tries to step in to inject a bit of pace in and lift it in towards the penalty area. Lacroix once more cleared away, but Liverpool full court press here. Even Alisson has come forward to lend a hand, pushed up midway inside his own half of the field. He's not been overly concerned with goalkeeping so far today, as Andy Robertson takes over on halfway for Liverpool. Van Dijk has to go back again to Alisson there, and he's not happy with the players in front of him. It's Jones and Gakpo on the end of a tongue lashing there. Can't help but think, for all the positivity in the air here at Anfield, the tension that must be floating around at St James's, Old Trafford, and certainly at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest, if they can get that win against Chelsea, secure a first ever Champions League place. Have of course won the old UEFA European Cup twice, but in the modern era they have not graced Europe's premier competition. Quick ball over the top is taken down by Mateta, needs support. He's got a run from Kamada outside him on the left hand side, and Kamada will roll that on for Eze. Van Dijk once offside, referee says play on for now. Eze will try and tiptoe his way into the box and eventually lands kindly for Munoz. Eze takes back over those, he switches over to the right hand side here, and that is a huge save from Alisson. But again, the Liverpool players look across for offside, and eventually the flag does flash up. Mateta much closer this time, and does come off the bar in the end. It's a hand flung up by Alisson, tipped onto the crossbar, and Mateta getting closer. With Van Dijk, just pushes over the halfway line for Ibrahima Konate. Very interesting stats here, that if Palace do go on to win this game, they'll end the campaign on 52 points, which will be a club record for the Eagles, and an extra little positive tick on a brilliant campaign for Glasner. Salah just helps that cross into the box, and Szoboszlai heads it wide. Ten minutes to go here before half time, or before the end of the regulation first 45 minutes, so we can take a spin through the latest scores around the grounds. Bournemouth 0, Leicester City 0, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1. Ilkay Gundogan's goal putting Pep Guardiola virtually on the edge of Champions League qualification. Ipswich 0, West Ham 0. So of course Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1 here. Ismaila Sarr's early goal. Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0, Southampton 0, Arsenal 0. And then a couple of goals in the bottom two games. Tottenham 1, Brighton 0, Dominic Solanke's penalty. Wolves 0, Brentford 1. Brian Mbeumo's 20th Premier League goal of the season. But those games with plenty riding on them are yet to produce a goal. Salah tries to whip that cross in once more from the Liverpool right, cleared away over the halfway line by Palace. Konate and Van Dijk, the only two back there patrolling the middle of the pitch for Liverpool. Bradley pushed right up alongside Salah, and Robertson here with Cody Gakpo. Curtis Jones will take over possession on the edge of the centre circle. Konate. Every time Liverpool, or rather a Liverpool player, has the ball inside the middle of the pitch, they're gesticulating furiously to the red shirts in front of them to offer up a passing angle. But you do also have to give credit to Crystal Palace here for their diligence in keeping the Premier League champions at arm's length. Jones again for Liverpool. Will Hughes just scrapping around there, trying to win back possession, but Liverpool keep the ball this time round. Szoboszlai, Konate, fed over to Salah, gets there before Mitchell this time, and ricochets fortunately back to him, and he'll try and lift that into the box, and Diaz with a chance, turned behind by Dean Henderson, and that's a big opportunity for Liverpool to get level. Diaz with the fly kick against the post in frustration, but that is Liverpool's best chance. Salah, second time lucky as his initial little clip ball is cut out by Kamada, and then he just lifts that into the box, 10 yards out. Diaz on the swivel. He's not able to get the right type of contact on it that he wanted, and Henderson just makes himself as big as possible, deflects it behind for a corner, and denies Diaz. Whipped into the penalty area, headed away by Chris Richards, picked up by Curtis Jones. Can Liverpool apply the pressure, turn the screw before the break, get themselves level here on their big title confirmation? Jones with space to get over the halfway line once more. Goes infield this time to Konate. Gravenberg. Salah's calling for it over on that far side, but Konate, Szoboszlai work it between them this time. Now Bradley, just left of centre, midway inside Palace's half of the field. Salah again screaming for it, and he gets it this time from Konate. Tries to go with a disguise ball into the box, and eventually he's kept alive by Gakpo. A little bit of pinball there, but Lerma eventually manages to nod it down for Mitchell, and he's immediately pressed by Szoboszlai. Eze, though, tried to maybe just be a bit too clever there, the Palace number 10, and the ball forward is cut out by Conor Bradley. Now Szoboszlai trying to find Salah again, but Mitchell once more on duty there in front of the Egyptian. Gets it away down the Palace left, and Eze's got space here. Goes first time to Mateta. Konate and Robertson do manage to deal with it though and get it back to Alisson. Here is Bradley, back in his more familiar right-back role now. Szoboszlai with a little dink across the halfway line to Robertson. Space for him to get forward, now rolled into Diaz, who's drifted left with Gakpo dropping central. Robertson will curl that one in, and it's a really important punch there from Dean Henderson as he was caught by Jones. The referee will blow for a foul against the Liverpool midfielder. Jones went in hard there on his England international colleague, and quick hug between the two of them. Henderson is back on his feet. Palace have dealt with that situation very, very well, whether it's Diaz or Gakpo trying to float in across to Henderson's left-hand post. And in an afternoon that was supposed to be all about Liverpool, it's Palace with the advantage here. And they've got themselves a free kick here, dead centre, midway inside Liverpool's half of the field, as Gravenberg just gets a hold of Daichi Kamada's shirt. Eberiche Eze will take control of this situation. Darren England here just once more on balloon duty. I wonder if the Liverpool fans will have run out of balloons for the second half. Liverpool not setting up a wall here, they just drop back to the edge of their own penalty area as Eze lifts that one in. It's headed away only as far as Will Hughes by Curtis Jones. A double block there from Liverpool, and that will spin dangerously and eventually into the gloves of Alisson. Liverpool keeper will bowl it out, get Liverpool moving quickly. Nice little shimmy there from Konate over the halfway line, but Mateta chases back to win possession. Now Eze. A bit scrappy here as you move into the final few minutes of the first half, and Palace just try and keep a check on that Liverpool momentum. Robertson got space to edge over the halfway line here, and Jones is pushed backwards by Will Hughes. Still no change in the wider scorelines. We'll give a full half-time update as we tick towards the break here at Anfield. Bradley on the overlap with Salah. Lerma gets across and Bradley concedes the final touch. That'll be a goal kick to Palace. So just to reiterate, as it stands in the live Premier League rankings, with the teams in need of points all drawing, it'll be Manchester City in third, Newcastle fourth, Chelsea fifth, and that will mean Europa League for Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, unless there is a change in the second half across those games. Henderson goes long with the goal kick, and it almost found its way through to Mateta there. Van Dijk able to take control back on the edge of Liverpool's penalty area. 2 minutes of the first 45 to go. Here's Konate, just takes over possession from his defensive colleague Van Dijk, and Van Dijk will go again here now as Palace midfield just got pulled across ever so slightly there. Sarr tucks in to put the pressure on Robertson. Konate again with Van Dijk, tries to go through the lines this time, but it's dealt with by Maxence Lacroix. Curtis Jones will pick up the loose ball for Liverpool though. Just zips into the middle of the Palace half. Konate worked over to Salah, but Mitchell again too sharp for Salah. Concede the throw in though, the Palace left back. Will Liverpool have time for one more opportunity? That chance for Luis Diaz, the best that Arne Slot's team have conjured up so far. A difficult one for the Colombian to take. He was on the turn and just couldn't get a clean enough touch on it to steer it beyond Dean Henderson. He couldn't see Dean Henderson behind him at all, and Liverpool have now been gifted an opportunity as Cody Gakpo goes down under a challenge right on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area, just in front of this left-hand touchline, and it's smack bang in Andy Robertson territory. Van Dijk, Konate will both come forward for this one. Just a few steps in from the touchline for Robertson as he prepares to angle this one into the penalty area. Final minute of the first half here. Robertson lofts it into the edge of the 6-yard box, dealt with again by a combination of Lacroix and Chris Richards. Gravenberch will pick it up though, 35 yards from goal. Jones rolled back to Salah. Munoz this time has dashed over to cover at left back. Jones will come again here, curls that into the far post. Robertson just can't quite get that, and it'll flash behind for a goal kick to Palace. We do have a couple of goal updates here as we go into added time at the end of the first half. Already relegated Ipswich are a goal down at home to West Ham. James Ward-Prowse putting the Hammers in front at Portman Road. And we also have a goal on the south coast. Rock Bottom, Southampton 0, Arsenal 1. Mikel Arteta looking to sign off on the campaign with a win. And it is the very unexpected figure of Kieran Tierney, his final game for Arsenal. And he's got himself a goal at the St Mary's Stadium. But no change in those all-important top five clashes. Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0. Just one additional minute of added time here at Anfield. And Arne Slot, hands in pockets, is ready to turn on his heel and go down the tunnel and try and deliver a half-time team talk that will rouse his players to produce something in the second half to match the party that will not just go on tonight but will go on until tomorrow. Liverpool will come to a standstill for the Premier League trophy parade. Salah tries to wriggle away over by the corner flag, and he's got 3-4 yellow shirts around him. And eventually it's Ebereze just protects that in front of Dominic Szoboszlai. And that is it, half-time here at Anfield. And the tale of the title tale hasn't gone quite to script so far. Ismaila Sarr's early goal giving Palace the advantage. And on Arne Slot's big day here at Anfield, it is the FA Cup holders with the lead at the break. Here on Flash Score, it is half-time at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. We'll be back with all the second half action in just over 15 minutes' time. Day at Anfield as a change for Conor Bradley. Just the one switch from Arne Slot as the Reds get us back underway for the second period. Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold now in at right back alongside Konate and Van Dijk, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai in midfield, and it's a front four of Salah, Jones, Gakpo and Diaz. Crystal Palace unchanged as they look to protect what would be a pretty surprising victory here if they were to get it at full time. Dean Henderson in goal. It's a back three of Lerma, Richards and Lacroix, Munoz, Hughes, Kamada and Mitchell in midfield. The goal scorer Sarr, Mateta and Eberiche Eze in attack. And just as a quick spin through the other latest scores across the Premier League as we get back underway: Bournemouth 0, Leicester 0, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1, Ipswich Town 0, West Ham 1, Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0. But the big news there at Old Trafford is the sending off of Emiliano Martinez just before half time. So Villa down to 10, Newcastle 0, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 0, Southampton 0, Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1, Brighton 0, Wolves 0, Brentford 1. Trent Alexander-Arnold straight into the action here as he's fouled 30 yards from goal, just right of centre. And the man at the centre of so much of the noise around Liverpool Football Club in recent weeks has immediately put the ball down to take control of the situation. Just too much of a wide angle to take a shot on here for Trent, but going to try and arrow this one into the box and give Palace something to deal with. Darren England just organising the Crystal Palace defences. Alexander-Arnold's ball just floats through. And that'll be a goal kick for Dean Henderson. Now, first involvement there for Trent. Bursting forward into an attacking position, as we've seen so many times before here at Anfield. But we will not be seeing for much longer as he prepares to call time on his career at Anfield. Henderson gets us back underway with a long punt forward. Konate gets the shout from his goalkeeper, and that'll just bounce all the way through to Alisson. And if you are sticking with us for the long haul this evening, we do have some La Liga action at 8 PM start. Athletic Club are home to Barcelona. Barcelona, just like Liverpool, already confirmed as domestic champions, and they tick off the campaign on the road in Bilbao. And there's still likely to be a few more twists and turns in the Premier League before we call time on things here today at Anfield. Aston Villa, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest and Chelsea all hunting for a top 5 position. And based on the current standings, it will be Newcastle and Chelsea playing Champions League football next season, unless there is a change. Alisson's come a hell of a long way there to smash that clearance downfield. It was a moment of uncertainty for Virgil van Dijk as he tried to recover. And eventually works his way all the way up to the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area. Here's Andy Robertson bursting forward from left back for the home team. Alexander-Arnold has positioned himself almost as a midfielder since he's come on. He's very high, just slightly inverted inside Mohamed Salah. Here is Salah. Tries to jink his way past Tariq Mitchell and does so for the first time. Gets to the byline. Szoboszlai is forced backwards. And Salah, pleasingly for the home team, has managed to get himself away from Tariq Mitchell for the first time, and it's fallen again for Salah here. Close range blocked and behind for a corner. Really important piece of defending there from Lacroix, and Salah has gone straight over to the referee to demand that that's checked for handball against the Palace defender. It fell kindly for Salah here, and he's just tried to guide it around Lacroix. Now, this is a decision for Darren England. It does catch the Crystal Palace number 5 on the arm. And the big question here will be, is that enough to warrant a VAR review from the officials? Darren England is just taking a moment here before the corner is taken over on that far side. So there will be a slight break in play here. He's just updating Virgil van Dijk to say that he will have to wait until he gets word from his VAR assistants. And the update is no check needed. No penalty for Liverpool. But they do have a corner over on that far left-hand side. Trent to take. Goes near post this time. Van Dijk tries to help it on, but it's smashed high and away by Chris Richards. Almost a mix-up there as Ryan Gravenberch raced all the way back, and Alisson didn't really read his intentions, and the Dutchman ended up behind his goalkeeper, but it's sorted out in the end and cleared away downfield. Kamada will win the turnover on halfway for Palace. Here's Tariq Mitchell, space to get away from Salah. He does just that, beyond Szoboszlai. Can he find a ball into the area? Mateta just tries to edge in front of Konate, but it's dealt with by the Frenchman. Liverpool can't quite get it away. Far enough for Palace not to come again. Mitchell once more. Pops it infield to Eze. Now Kamada again. Will Hughes just tries to scoop that over a couple of Liverpool heads for Eze, and Alisson will take control of the situation. And sloppy once more from Liverpool, building out from their own penalty area, and Mateta will go for goal here. Straight down the throat of Alisson. Darren England just repeating his decision over that Salah handball shout to Van Dijk and a couple of the other Liverpool players. As Curtis Jones takes over possession on halfway to try and drive Liverpool forward. Now Gakpo back with Andy Robertson. Virgil van Dijk has just offered himself there to take over from Konate. We have had an equaliser at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham 1, Brighton 1. Brighton, of course, as you mentioned, if they can keep themselves in 8th position, which they are expected to do today, Jack Hinchelwood with the equaliser, and Chelsea lose and finish 7th, and then go on and win the Conference League final, they will have a spot in Europe next season. Liverpool here just keeping possession inside their own centre circle. Konate, Trent, Van Dijk. That early burst of excitement from the home team has died off just a little in the last minute or two. As Konate rolled over to Salah. Immediately Mitchell out to put pressure on him and a win the throw-in. We've also got ourselves an equaliser at Portman Road. Ipswich 1, West Ham 1. Nathan Broadhead bringing the Tractor Boys on terms. Be great for Ipswich if they were to get a win to end what's been a disappointing Premier League return. And Liverpool have got themselves a free kick here. Gravenberch bundled to the floor right on the corner of the Crystal Palace penalty area. And the referee's actually changed his mind and gone in the opposite direction as Gravenberch's expression. No, Darren England has stuck with his original decision. And another chance on his final assignment for Trent Alexander-Arnold to whip one of his famous deliveries into the Palace penalty area, right on the corner of the 18-yard box for Liverpool. Perfect for an outswinging right footer. And Alisson delivers it in deep, but again, really good work from Palace at that far post. Richards, Lacroix, just to get back in numbers and see it behind for a goal kick. Van Dijk and Konate just not able to get the other side of the Palace defensive unit. 10 minutes into the second period, no change in the score. Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 1. Ismaila Sarr's early goal shocking the Kop. And as Liverpool prepare to hoist the Premier League trophy later on this afternoon, their winless run since being confirmed as champions continues. As Will Hughes just pops that over the halfway line for Tyrick Mitchell, and we've got a couple more goals to update you on here as Mitchell does well. Just a guard possession in front of Dominic Szoboszlai. Kamada with the out ball. Now Eze. So there's been an equaliser at the St Mary's Stadium. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1. Ross Stewart. But the big goal that will have the major impact on potential Champions League qualification has come at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 1. Levi Colwill with the goal for Enzo Maresca's team. And that doesn't change the standings as it is, but it could be a hammer blow for Nottingham Forest. Another goal at Portman Road. West Ham back in front. Ipswich 1, West Ham 2. Jared Bowen re-establishing Graham Potter's team back in the lead. So that's all caught up. Konate over the halfway line into the feet of Diaz, who drops deep to show for him there. Now Alexander-Arnold. Salah back again with Trent. Switch of play over to that far left hand side. Does manage to just about find its way to Gakpo. Munoz caught in between two minds there as Gakpo tries to work a shooting angle on his right foot. Has to go back to Van Dijk. Robertson back again with Virgil van Dijk. Now Trent once more. 25 yards from goal. Just tries to hang that in towards Salah. And Mitchell will head it behind for a corner to Liverpool. So just to reiterate on the live standings, Chelsea will jump above Newcastle into 4th if it stays as it is, but both of them will qualify for the Champions League unless there's changes elsewhere here on the final day. Corner for Liverpool to be taken by Dominic Szoboszlai. Near post from the Hungarian, flicked away by Palace. Alexander-Arnold will try and drive one, but it's beyond the post this time. Hasn't quite managed to get his radar clicked on just yet. Feels as if he will have an impact on this game. And despite coming in for some pretty severe negativity, he will want nothing more and to cap off his Liverpool career with a positive impact here today. Henderson with a clearance over the halfway line. It's a loose touch from Konate, but he's got enough pace to recover there in front of Eberezi, and Alisson rather dashed out to help, but Konate manages to deal with the situation on his own. Eberechi Eze has gone down off the ball there. He was shoved away by Konate and he's only just now getting back to his feet. Liverpool try and get forward here, and Salah will keep that alive on the near touchline. Here is Trent Alexander-Arnold backing him up. Mitchell gets back in to get a touch, but Salah just lifts that cross into the gloves of Dean Henderson. And Darwin Núñez is stripped and ready for action on the sidelines for Arne Slot. Diaz or Gakpo, you'd imagine, will be the options to make way for him. Another Liverpool player who could be making his final appearance here today. The Uruguay international has been heavily linked with a move away. Hasn't quite clicked for him since Slot came in last summer. Here is Trent Alexander-Arnold again, storming over the halfway line. Tries to find Salah again, but Lerma on the cover does well, and Tyrick Mitchell does even better to just dip away from the press from Alexander-Arnold. Now Kamada. Diogo Jota is also getting some instructions from Arne Slot, so it could be a double change on the hour. Just waiting for the ball to go out of play for Slot to make those changes. And then we can take a glance at the latest scores in the final half an hour of the 24-25 Premier League season. Konate on the centre circle. Now Van Dijk. Back with Konate. Everybody in Liverpool red, minus Alisson, pushed up into Crystal Palace's half of the field, into the final third really. Van Dijk is a long way from home here. Rolls it into Robertson. Gravenberch. Now Trent, who's just drifted infield once more, trying to find an angle to lift one forward. Gravenberch just gets there before Lacroix. Hughes is pushed over by Luis Diaz. And Ryan Gravenberch is going to collect a booking here. He went down rather theatrically there as he burst into the penalty area, and Hughes wins a cheap foul. Gravenberch gets a card for simulation. I think that's a fair decision from Darren England. It was rather dramatised from the Dutch international. Chris Richards doesn't stick a leg out, and Gravenberch goes to ground. And that will be possibly Ryan Gravenberch's final action. He's been caught over here by Arne Slot, but doesn't look as if he will be amongst those changes. Dominic Szoboszlai is off though, and Darwin Nunez with a rather fetching new hairstyle is on. Cornrows are back. Konate is going to be withdrawn as well. Place of Diogo Jota. So Jota and Nunez on, Konate and Szoboszlai off. A hunch there will be that Liverpool will go to a back three, but we'll keep an eye on that for a moment. Palace also opting for a change here. Jean-Philippe Mateta. It's the end of his Premier League season. It's been a fine campaign for the Frenchman. 14 Premier League goals, 17 in all competitions. Eddie Nketiah, who scored twice in their 4-2 win over Wolves in midweek, is on. And Eberechi Eze is also off, to be replaced by Justin Devenny. 2 changes apiece. 27 minutes to go here. We can just, as promised, take a spin through the latest scores. Bournemouth 0, Leicester City 0, Fulham 0, Manchester City 1. Victory there will absolutely guarantee Man City a place in the Champions League. Ipswich 1, West Ham 2. Manchester United 0, Aston Villa 0. As it stands, no Champions League qualification for Unai Emery. Newcastle 0, Everton 0. The Magpies still inside the top 5 as it stands. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 1. That means Maresca is back in the Champions League. And then Southampton 1, Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1, Brighton 1, Wolves 0, Brentford 1. And we will keep an eye on those as we continue on here at Anfield. Ryan Gravenberch has moved into defence now for Liverpool, with Andy Robertson just pulled the cross. Curtis Jones has also dropped quite deep, so might in fact be a one-man defence with Virgil van Dijk. Trent Alexander-Arnold is lingering close to his captain. A long ball forward there from Salah as well, just to keep that in play, but Mitchell gets the clearance. Well won here from Jones from distance. He'll drive, deflected, and then deflected off Salah, and that'll be a goal kick. Salah just couldn't quite react in time to gather that one in. Jones's effort just catches the back of Maxence Lacroix, and Salah not able to gather and fire. Henderson will get Palace back underway. Nketiah, like for like, up top for Jean-Philippe Mateta, and Devenny will add something to the attack along with Sarr. And here is Sarr, does well to battle on the edge of Liverpool's box and keep it alive for Palace. Munoz's cross in, gathered by Alisson. Here is Diogo Jota. Trent Alexander-Arnold tries to go first time into the channel, and Nunez is in behind here. Chance for Nunez. Big save for Henderson. What a ball that was from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Just fizzed into the space in between the two Crystal Palace central defenders. And Nunez is in. But full credit to Dean Henderson. He's off his line like a shot. And manages to close the angle down. Instantly on Darwin Nunez. But just a little reminder of what Liverpool will not be seeing here next season. Brilliant ball there from Trent. Just spots the run of Nunez in behind. And Liverpool number 9 does well just to get that over Henderson. But he sticks out a big hand to bat it away. Jurgen Klopp enjoyed that in the crowd as well. The Liverpool fans have only got just under 25 minutes to continue enjoying a player who's won so much for this club. And what is the final throes of his Liverpool career. Nunez now has space down the right to cross. It's well taken down by Sarr. Big save from Alisson. And Liverpool caught asleep at the back again, and Sarr will test. And Devaney will test Alisson as well. The best chances in this game have fallen to Crystal Palace. Liverpool just sloppy there, trying to get it away. Lifted back into the penalty area. And Sarr here, 12 yards out. Fizzes it low. And Alisson gets down to keep him out. And that save keeps Liverpool in the game. And keeps their chances of a result here on board this afternoon. Here's Jones. Pushed over almost to right back now, the Liverpool midfielder. Curl that one in towards the back post. Munoz allows that to bounce all the way across to Cody Gakpo. Wants to get it in on his right foot. Does just that. But it'll be blocked behind for a corner. Brighton now in front away at Tottenham. 2-1 in North London to the Seagulls. Second goal of the game for Jack Hinchelwood. Just over 22 minutes to go, generally speaking, across all 10 Premier League games. Brighton are doing their part. It looks like they might miss out on a European qualification spot. Alexander-Arnold with the corner. Tries to go low to Salah. Blocked by Palace once more. Jones will keep it going though. Alexander-Arnold will try and loft that in again, but it's smashed clear by Lerma. Gravenberch is caught on the halfway, and he's caught Kamada. And Darren England here goes straight to his pocket. And the man who was cautioned just a few moments ago is shown a straight red card there. No real appeals from the Liverpool number 38. That clearance was an awkward one for him to take on the halfway line, and Kamada immediately chased him down. He catches the Japan international. There's a shrug of the shoulders from him here, but he's already got his marching orders from Darren England. And in a game that promised to be a procession almost for Liverpool, Crystal Palace heading here to Merseyside with nothing left to play for. They're in danger of extending that winless run since being confirmed as the Premier League champions. And we are just being shown a few replays of that challenge from Gravenberch, and can have no complaints at all. Kamada is back on his feet for Palace. And Liverpool will have to do it with 10 men for the final 20 minutes. There's going to be a change here made in lieu of that red card for Gravenberch. Wataru Endo is ready to roll. Luis Diaz with a player to come off and allow Endo to come on and just try and shore Liverpool up to get over the line for the season. No changes elsewhere, as you were in the bulk of those games that we are keeping an eye on. Endo is on. Palace will have a free kick here just over the halfway line. Kamada is back on his feet and okay. Hughes just floats that up to the edge of the box, helped on towards Chris Richards, and Andy Robertson will get across by the corner flag to deal with it. Diogo Jota is there and blocked off, and that will be a goal kick to Liverpool. Goal at St James's Park. It's not gone in favour of the home side. Everton on the road in Tyneside. And it's Carlos Alcaraz with the goal. And that, if Forest can find something at home to Chelsea, could have a big bearing on those all-important live rankings. Aston Villa, who are currently 0-0 at Old Trafford, down to 10 after Martinez is sending off, have now leapfrogged Newcastle in the race for Champions League qualification. Big twist on Tyneside. 20 minutes to go here and 20 minutes to go on the Premier League season. A bit of defending there on halfway from Wataru Endo just to get in between Devaney and Sarr. Salah will race away down the right hand side, and it's cleared behind for a corner by Richards. So just to confirm, as it stands, Manchester City 3rd, Chelsea 4th, Aston Villa 5th. Newcastle will drop into the Europa League, and Nottingham Forest, if it stays as it is, will be into the UEFA Conference League. Huge goal there from David Moyes' team. And Aston Villa continue to battle away in Manchester. So much on the line for all of these teams. Despite the fact that we're here watching the Premier League champions and the FA Cup holders, you can't help but feel that bigger narratives are unfurling elsewhere. Nice turn there from Wataru Endo. Salah's got space here to go at Mitchell once more. Was Lerma on the cover, can't prevent the corner though. Liverpool will keep pushing and probing. Good reaction there from Jefferson Lerma. Just spotted that Mitchell maybe a little stretched up against Salah. Alexander-Arnold will come across to this near right side to once again take the corner for Liverpool. Van Dijk, Konate both up. Alexander-Arnold hangs it in, big header there from Jefferson Lerma again, I think. But it will get recycled back to Trent. Dips in away from Devaney. Can he curl one in once more? Flicked on by Jota. He can't direct that back on target. Liverpool are appealing for a corner here. And the referee agrees. Trent will have another go. We are now into the final 20, all the way across each game in the Premier League. Trent goes again, same spot once more, same outcome for Crystal Palace, cleared over the far side, and Will Hughes does really well there just to steal a throw off Endo. Darren England just reminding the Crystal Palace players here to hurry themselves along a little. It's a bit early for time wasting. Gakpo does well to win that battle with Will Hughes. Nice little back heel into Jota. Tries to trick his way past Lacroix. Now Nunez tries to take over just inside the box, but it's cleared away, and that'll be another corner for Liverpool. Richards once more. It's all hands to the pump here for Crystal Palace. Jota just not able to smuggle that into Darwin Nunez. Trent will go over to the Liverpool left this time. Can Liverpool's right back produce once more? Near post this time, helped on. It's Lerma once more right in front of his goalkeeper there, gets it away. Jones will bring it down for Liverpool, but he's had his pocket picked by Devaney. Palace have got a break on here, 4-on-2. If they can get this pass right, they can kill the game off, and that is a dreadful ball across. Will Hughes streaking through the middle, and Ismail Assar overcooks the cross, and Liverpool escape. Now Alexander-Arnold goes for the Hail Mary forward. Salah does well just to leave a Tyreek Mitchell off the lofted ball over his head. Mitchell sticks to his task though, and Salah's forced backwards here. Endo forward, midway inside the Palace half of the field. Van Dijk. Robertson again. Watches that little run in behind of Gakpo, taken down by Gakpo. Can he square it to Jota? Off the post. And panic for Palace as they get it away. And Diogo Jota off the bench for Arne Slot. Just cannot find a way beyond Dean Henderson. I don't think he caught that as he would have wanted to, the Portuguese international. As Van Dijk is fouled inside the centre circle by Will Hughes. Brilliant ball initially from Andy Robertson. Pulled down on the edge of the 6-yard box by Gakpo. And Jota slips as he tries to get that past Henderson. And he's denied by the post. Here comes Gakpo again to the byline. The cross is held by Henderson this time. 15 minutes to go here and a goal at Bournemouth. Bournemouth 1, Leicester City 0. Antoine Semenyo with the breakthrough for the Cherries. No European qualification on the line for them today. But a very, very positive campaign for Andone Iraola's team. Still Fulham 0, Man City 1. You would get the sense that they're okay now for Champions League qualification. Ipswich 1, West Ham 2. Still goalless at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Everton 1 goal in front at St James's. Chelsea in front at Nottingham Forest, and those are the results we are keeping the closest of eyes on here as we go right into the final round in the battle for Champions League qualification. Another free kick for Liverpool here. And you guessed it, Trent Alexander-Arnold will get his hands on the ball. 35 yards from goal. And it's near right hand side. Another perfect crossing zone for him if he can get his angles right this time. He hangs that in towards the penalty spot. Salah goes for it, and Richards once more hacks it away at the far post, completed by Daniel Munoz. He's getting closer, Trent. I've seen him clatter crosses right into that type of situation on countless opportunities, on countless times before. Can he provide a final salvo here as he prepares to walk away from Liverpool? Throw in, quickly taken over on that far side, and Jota just thwarted there by Will Hughes. Munoz has got space to get away down the Palace right, and he's still got pace to burn here. Darwin Nunez will go with him. And Manchester City have got a second goal away at Fulham. Erling Haaland from the penalty spot. That is them effectively over the line for Champions League qualification in third place. We're at that point now where we can start ticking a few boxes. We already know the champions, we already know second place, and Manchester City now effectively over the line in that fight for Europe's premier competition. Tottenham, of course, qualifying as Europa League champions. Nice run there from Darwin Nunez as he tries to get onto it. Little through ball from Jota. Lacroix and Munoz see it behind though. I've tried to link up since coming on, Jota and Nunez. Hasn't quite clicked into gear just yet. There's going to be a change here for Palace as well as we move towards the final 10 minutes. Will Hughes is applauded off by the travelling fans. Romain Esse will get himself a run out at Anfield. Henderson goes long again, and Nketiah beaten to it by Virgil van Dijk. Here is Esse's first involvement as he just wins that turnover midway inside the Liverpool half of the field. Tyreek Mitchell forward from left back, rolled onto the half, onto the edge of the box towards Nketiah, who goes down, claiming he was caught by Van Dijk. No foul, says Darren England. And we are into the final 10 minutes here, and into the final 10 across the majority of the other Premier League games this season. Newcastle, unless they can find an equaliser, will not be playing Champions League football next season. It'll be Aston Villa and Chelsea joining Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester City. Henderson just clips that across to his right back, Daniel Munoz. Kamada inside the centre circle. Jota goes to put the pressure up. Tyreek Mitchell steps in away from Trent Alexander-Arnold, but that's good hustle from Wataru Endo to win it back. But Jones's ball to Trent is cut out, and Esse goes to the ground there, and he was sandwiched in between Jones and Endo. One latest score that we did miss just a little while ago is Wolves are pulled level at 1-1 at home to Brentford. Munetzi with the goal. Alisson there almost caught as Esse tried to close him down, and Trent just flings that down the right channel for Nunez to chase. Lerma will see it out for a throw-in to Crystal Palace. Another change in that race for Champions League qualification. Manchester United have taken the lead at home to Aston Villa. Manchester United won. The 10 men of Aston Villa are now behind, and that adds another sting in the tail in that battle for top 5. Newcastle, despite being behind at home to Everton, are now back in front of Villa. So it's Chelsea and Newcastle with less than 10 minutes to go in the season getting over the line. Newcastle, despite the fact that they might lose that game, could still achieve their goal of Champions League qualification. Amad Diallo with the all-important goal for Manchester United. Ruben Amorim is reportedly planning an on-pitch apology to the Man United fans at full-time. A win in their final game of the season might just make that a little easier for him. Trent just tries to go first time round the corner from right back there, and Lerma just a bit sharper than Salah. Arne Slot is certainly not happy with what he's seen today. He's been very, very animated in his technical area. Have to give plenty of praise to Crystal Palace coming here on the back of what's been a pretty joyous week, or 2 weeks. FA Cup champions, qualified for Europe, and they've got a break on here. If Eze can get that ball across quickly, Eddie Nketiah unable to get in front of Virgil van Dijk, and Andy Robertson clears it away. Throw in to Palace over on that far right hand side, just in front of the corner flag, and Liverpool need to be careful here that they don't concede and effectively just trudge over the finishing line. Jefferson Lerma will come all the way across to try and hurl this one into the Liverpool 6-yard box. Richards the target. Van Dijk gets there first, but it'll go straight back over to Lerma and try and hoist one into the far post. Eze will keep it in control here. Romain Esse try to take on Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he does take on Trent Alexander-Arnold. Can he get to the byline here? Endo sticks with him. He's doubled up on here though now as Diogo Jota gets in there. Jota will just smash that for distance. Darwin Nunez will try and make things difficult for the retreating Palace defenders. That's a really good bit of defending from Tyreek Mitchell. Nunez will go again, hangs it into the far post, not it down for Salah. Goal! Equaliser! Mohamed Salah! And Palace have finally been broken here. And Liverpool have pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's their main man who gets his reward. 29 Premier League goals for the season. 5 minutes to go here on the final day at Anfield. Salah with the equaliser. No more really than Liverpool deserve. But this is great work from Darwin Núñez. Loses the initial tussle, doesn't give it up. Hangs in that cross from the right-hand channel. Gakpo with the knockdown. And then Salah. He's got the freedom of the Crystal Palace 6-yard box. And even time to finish with a flourish. A hop, skip and a jump. Scissor kicks that beyond Dean Henderson. Takes a touch. Well, flies beyond the England goalkeeper. And Liverpool, they might not win this, but they're not ending with defeat on the final day of the Premier League season. Big goal for Salah. His best goal return since his first season at Liverpool, and a beat to the chest there in front of his adoring crowd. And that will boost the mood here for the final few minutes. And Liverpool are going to come again here. Gakpo away down the left-hand side, deflected. Behind for a corner. So just to repeat where we're up to: Bournemouth 1, Leicester 0. Fulham 0, Manchester City 2, Ipswich 1, West Ham 2, Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1, Man United 1, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 1. Corner delivered in, only half dealt with by Palace, and Salah will just curl that into Henderson's hands. Southampton 1, Arsenal 1, Tottenham 1, Brighton 2, Wolves 1, Brentford 1. Harvey Elliott has just come on here for Andy Robertson. So, short of another swing in a different direction, it will be Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal playing Champions League football, joined by Chelsea and Newcastle. Still time though. Here's Alexander-Arnold back at centre-back now, tries to sweep that forward down the Liverpool left for Gakpo, but it's cut out by Richards. Kamada will shuffle that over to the Palace left. Mitchell tracked over the halfway line by Salah. Lerma, now Kamada again. He's got runners in front of me, Tyrick Mitchell, if he can spot it. Esse. Reverse ball back into the channel for Nketiah, just had a bit too much on it, and that'll go behind for a goal kick to Liverpool. Jordan Henderson, another member of the Liverpool alumni in the crowd here today. And for the next half an hour or so, he'll be the only Liverpool captain to have lifted the Premier League trophy. Apologies, Steven Gerrard, who's also in attendance here today. Virgil van Dijk will become the first ever Dutch international to captain a team to a Premier League title. And West Ham look to have put an end to Ipswich's rather disappointing return to the Premier League. 3-1 in front away at Portman Road. Mohamed Kudus capping that one off for Graham Potter. The final 90 seconds of the 90 minutes here. Munoz with space to come forward. There's acres for him to attack in behind there. Liverpool, of course, down to 10 after Gravenberch's red card. Just carousel back over to this near side. Mitchell will roll it to Kamada. Tries to go into the feet of Nketiah. Endo just screening in front of Van Dijk there on the penalty spot. Be a free kick in Liverpool's favour. Arsenal have retaken the lead away at Southampton. Martin Ødegaard in the 90th minute for Mikel Arteta. And Brighton 3-1 to the good on the road at Tottenham. none of those results, of course, will have any bearing on the battle for Champions League. There's only 3 in mind. And that is Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0, Everton 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 1. Newcastle and Chelsea currently occupying the top 5. Munoz again with plenty of green grass in front of him to get forward, and he's given away a foul inside the Liverpool area there. A couple of the Crystal Palace players here asking Darren England how much is left, and we will get an update on added time in just a moment. Now, ticking beyond the 90-minute mark here at Anfield. 5 minutes left for the Premier League champions. 5 minutes left for Trent Alexander-Arnold as a Liverpool player, as he takes possession here on the halfway line. Just rolled across to Van Dijk, and we will keep you across as all the final whistles blow here across the board on the 24-25 season. Lerma takes control on the edge of the Palace box. Nice ball forward there for Kamada, who's fouled. Play on, says the referee for now. Bournemouth 2-0 up at home to Leicester. Antoine Semenyo's second of the game. And we are down to a walking pace here at Anfield, taken very literally there on the Palace right hand side by Ismail Assar. Just rolls that back to Chris Richards on halfway. Here's Devaney. Space over on the Palace left for Mitchell to get forward, and he'll curl that into the box. Cleared away by Alexander-Arnold. Helped forward by Salah. Nunez just not really facing the right way there to read that situation. Palace do manage to deal with it. Time running out for Nottingham Forest and for Newcastle to change their Champions League fate. And we've just got an update from another goal at Old Trafford as Van Dijk smashes that one away. Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 0. And you would expect that is the end of Unai Emery's push to finish inside the top 5. Christian Eriksen from the penalty spot. And regardless of what happens at the City Ground or at St James's, it looks as if the die has been cast on who will be qualifying for the Champions League. Ironically, Manchester United having a big say on that. Frustration for Villa, down to 10 just before the half-time whistle as Emiliano Martinez was dismissed. And despite losing at home to Everton, Newcastle look like they've done enough. There's going to be a final change here for Crystal Palace. The final 2 minutes of added time. Matthias Franke is on. And that is something you don't see every day. Romain Esse has been substituted on and off by Oliver Glasner. And Henderson will just whack that clearance long. Endo back in at right back. Deals with that for Liverpool. Picked up inside the centre circle by Devaney. Ball forward, cut out by Jones, who's drifted over to left back in the last few minutes. Palace will try and creep forward here again. It'll fall for Nketiah. Saved by Alisson. One more throw of the dice here for Liverpool. Salah races away down the right hand side. Got Jota in front of him, and that's a poor ball from Mohamed Salah. Just bounces that awkwardly in front of Jota, and he knows that he should have done better. Palace will now try and spring forward themselves. Henderson with the quick bowl out. Franke's first involvement here. He just curls that beyond Alisson's post. Both teams are going for this here. We are into the final minute of the 5 that were initially indicated. That was a big chance for Eddie Nketiah. Never looked particularly convincing though. And the flags are waving. And the scarves are aloft in the Kop. As the thousands and thousands of Liverpool fans here prepare to welcome home the Premier League trophy, their second in 5 years. One for Jurgen Klopp, one for Arne Slot. And there will be an eruption of noise here when Darren England finally blows that final whistle in a few seconds' time. It's not been their finest game here today. As Van Dijk is going to pick himself up a booking here. He races back into his own half there. He had a pull at a Palace player. I think it was Eddie Nketiah that has gone to ground, and Van Dijk not happy with the decision. Don't think it will spoil his afternoon too much, though. And Palace will just toss this forward into the Liverpool penalty area, and that, you would imagine, will be that here at Anfield. No change in those other games. As Devaney just hoists that one in. And that is it. Full time here at Anfield and full time on the 2024-25 season. Liverpool crowned as Premier League champions a month ago. Over the line with a draw against the FA Cup holders. Both sides will be playing European football next season. Liverpool as English champions into the Champions League. Palace as FA Cup winners into the Europa League. And the final few seconds across the board here on the season. But as I leave you here at Anfield, Manchester United have denied Aston Villa in the race for Champions League qualification. It will be Chelsea and Newcastle plying their trade in Europe's top tier next season. But as the whistle blows and the party begins here on Merseyside, thank you so much for listening this season. We'll be taking a short break here on Flashscore. Nations League coverage starts at the beginning of June, and then it is the FIFA Club World Cup before the return of the Premier League in August. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Full time at Anfield. It is Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 1.